building. He's just teasing us. Whilst we have some time, very quickly, if anybody's got a question for him, let me know and I'll see if I can ask it. Anyone? Okay, I'll try and remember that one. When's the next Japan? Any more? It's going to be a memory test for me. You, sir?
When Tony have like the extra band songs, like August.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to say that again.
So like August. So when Tony have.
Okay, sorry, I'm going to have to please welcome to the Odeon Covent Garden the director of the film, Yoshiki. Your microphone.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming to London.
Thank you for having me.
And I had another first question, but I couldn't help but notice that that film ended with the words, "to be continued." So is there a sequel?
Why not? Yes.
Yeah.
What can we expect from the sequel?
First of all, we shot more than what we saw. Also, maybe shooting more. So,
And I don't know if you're aware, I'm a filmmaker as well, and most of my films, when I get to see them up on the screen, what was I thinking? That for me, it's once I've made the film, that's when I realise what I've learned from making the film. So I was wondering what you've learned as a first-time director from the process of making this film.
good question. A lot. And then, I've been producing music here and there, like for a long time.
Just like it's just been a hobby for you, really.
I wish I can call that hobby, but yes. Then there's no very perfect, recording or anything. I don't think I've ever done. So always like, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done this. Like, it's creating something is always like a process of compromising. But you have perfect kind of vision. But yeah, then I'm still very grateful I got the opportunity to direct and then create a film, something like this. Yeah.
It's an extraordinary achievement, and I again, I've just made a film about the band King Crimson, and I found that.
Oh my God, King Crimson?
Yes, I figured. I know you're a fan of Bowie's Heroes, so I figured.
Yeah, of course, I'm King Crimson too.
And I was wondering, did you find yourself difficult to work with?
That's a great question. Depends on kind of like a day. Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a great question.
But what was it like seeing yourself objectively? Having to go through the footage in the editing process and seeing so much of yourself as others see you. What did you learn from that?
Yes, it's kind of like hard to be a director, also the subject at the same time, but I always try to look at myself from outside, like just basically like Yoshiki and then the other producer Yoshiki or director Yoshiki separate me. So, you know, sometimes I hate that Yoshiki. You know, I mean, not a lot of time I like who Yoshiki is. So I have to admit, you know, but at the same time, you know, that Yoshiki artist Yoshiki trying hard too. So I'm kind of good at separating those two Yoshikis. Or yeah, doesn't have to be me. I'm just trying to be producer or director myself, and then what the subject, whoever that is, including myself.
And with regard to the people that you chose to collaborate with in the performances, was there a principle you had in mind in terms of the people that you were choosing?
You know, I wanted to also work with the people who has some kind of connection as well. Also, I wanted to work with the artist like who's very edgy. Doesn't have to be rock. Doesn't have to be, you know. So then, at that time, we were talking. Then those are the amazing artists who, kindly agreed to work with me. So.
And am I right in thinking that you've only just released a song on which you're singing for the first time?
Oh yeah, that song is 1 month ago, something like that.
And I have to be honest with you, Yoshiki. When I was researching you, and I first came and. I've worked with King Crimson, so I know a lot about complicated drumming, and I was quite blown away by your skills as a drummer, particularly the double or quadruple time, bass drumming. And then you compare that with the delicacy of your piano work and your classical work. It struck me that I was like, well, he clearly can't sing. That's why he's getting all of these other people to come and sing for him, because he's an incredible musician. But now I know you can sing. The question for me is why do you collaborate with other singers? Why do you work with musicians who seem to give voice to you in a way that it seems like you're perfectly capable of doing yourself? I'm an okay singer. I can sing. Also, when I'm recording, I usually whoever the singer is, I'm just saying, I kind of tell them this is how I would like you to sing this. So I sing in front of the singers. But I'm so lucky to know all those amazing singers, such as excellent singer Toshi or Hyde, or there's an amazing singers around me. So compared to them, I'm not good at all. So yeah, I'm pretty confident when it comes to drums or piano. So I used to play trumpet. I played trumpet for 5 years, long time ago, but I decided not to play trumpet anymore because I didn't look good when I played trumpet. Yeah, I was in the competition. My mother came and took a picture, and then I looked like a frog. And that's it. I'm not going to play trumpet anymore. So. Was that because you had Dizzy Gillespie cheeks?
Yeah, exactly. I just didn't look good when playing trumpet. Then, the singing, maybe I may sing sometime in the future, but it's not gonna be my main thing.
In researching your work, I came across this term, and please excuse the pronunciation, visual Kai or K?
Visual K, yes.
Visual K. And I could see some elements of glam rock. I'm guessing you were a Hanoi Rocks fan back in the day as well.
Oh yeah. There's an amazing song called Tragedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was wondering that obviously, and also sort of doing the research, you see the change of the image becoming something which is more sophisticated, but still draws your attention in. But I was interested to know that how the idea of visual K had kind of evolved into the music as well?
I think visual K is some kind of like a cultural movement. I might have said before different interview or something, but I was just rebel against anything. I was just like, I don't know, it's just very crazy. I mean, maybe still, but so I was very into the punk rock, yeah. So then visual K, when it comes to visual K, we are not really defining the genre. Can be rock, can be even pop, can be heavy metal, it can be anything. So, but just I think it's like some kind of like a attitude or like, you know, like a mental state of mind that's just like you know, it's like you don't have to fall into one category, you know, so you can just be free. That's kind of visual K started because like a long time ago, Japan was a very conservative country. Like if you have like a blonde hair or something, spike hair, like you couldn't get a cab or anything. Just like you know.
Well, you couldn't have fitted into the cab either, I noticed.
That's a great question. Actually, yeah, I had to get into the cab because I have very high, like long spike hair, so I had to get into the cab like this. Yeah. First of all, you know, it was so hard for me to stop cab. Every single cab just kind of like passed me through. I was like, come on, right?
Maybe they were worried for your hair. Maybe they were.
That too.
But the reason I brought that up is that there's a tremendous visual sophistication to the performances, and it struck me that it is just like an evolution of this idea of visual extravagance, and also interestingly, another performance space in which there is unlimited headroom, so you could have had any. But was that a response to the pandemic and needing to sort of to be in an open air space to perform?
Pandemic kind of triggered it, but in general, I wanted to do something like beautiful, and then, you know, like again, pandemic triggered it. People are like, you know, kind of depressed, and then also not nice to each other sometimes in the, you know, social media or something like this. I was thinking like, do we have to hate each other, or I mean, we can love, you know, we can give love to each other. I mean, so I wanted to do something, you know, that try to emphasize the beautiful side of people. I mean, you know, including myself, sometimes I get angry and then, like, you know, get depressed. I mean, I get depressed all the time, but try to bring the beautiful side of the human being, I guess. That's you know, it's not easy because those kind of like dark side usually stands out in this world, you know. But at least we can try to do this. I was supposed to do music, you know. So that's what I wanted to do, you know. Yeah.
As Elvis Costello put it, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding when it comes down to it?
Right. I mean, yeah, people say easy to say, but at least, you know, we can try this way.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm.
So you talk a lot about the importance of your fans and your relationship with your fans, and there's that very acute and moving sequence in the movie where the man's wife is well, the end of her life appears to be improved by the interaction with you and your music. And as a maker of cinema, I was wondering how your relationship with your fans has changed by making a movie and so on, and sort of knowing that one of the things I love about making films is that you know that you've got somebody's attention for an hour and a half. There's something very intimate about that, even though people watch films in a crowd, they're really watching them alone. So how do you think about that relationship?
First of all, you know, I you know, lost my father when I was young. After he took his own life. Since then, when I was always thinking, like, what is life, right? Why did he leave me? Always a question. Then I still don't know, like, you know, the reason why he killed himself. I mean, since then, I kind of like this wish is thing in my head always, sometimes like dark side of me takes over. Then, but because the music, and then since when I debut, my fans support and helping me, so basically every day is hard. It's not easy, but for some reason, well, because of my fans and music, just I can keep going. Then it's not wrong to be living. That's basically, as long as I'm living, I may be supporting somebody. Could be. It's like how.
I think that's the best argument against suicide. Is the worst case scenario, no matter how depressed you are, it's worth living for somebody else.
Exactly. So this under the sky, the title means we are still under the sky. We are still not up in the sky yet. So then process of making film, we had to reshoot some of the scene or something like this. Then especially we've just finished editing this film 1 month ago. Last year, my mother, passed away.
I'm sorry.
So it was very hard. I was at least I'm still living here. Then, there's a support from my friends. Why don't I just trying to, do what I'm trying to live as much as I can. Basically, it's like an argument, always like a positive side of myself, and then not a negative side of myself, arguing every single day. But creating art also helping me. Then this art can help somebody else. That's I think I'm okay to be living like that kind of life.
I think it's important that you do. It matters. I think we can agree, can't we?
Absolutely, yes.
Yoshiki makes work for us.
I think that kind of thing may apply to not only me, everybody.
Yeah.
It's always stronger side, positive side of you, or or negative side of you. Always people are fighting. But I wish I could just bring people to the positive side, brighter side, I guess. As an artist.
So, well, in a related sense, then, how do you retain a sense of humility when you are selling out a 55,000 seat auditorium or selling 30 million records? How do you remain you? How do you remain you and yet give so much of yourself to your fans?
I give 100%, 1,000% of myself, regardless front of 1 person, 10 people, or 1,000 people, or 100,000 people. Yes, I perform also in creating music, something as if there's no tomorrow. So every single stage I play, regardless, could be 50 people, or I just put entire myself into it. Yeah.
To the extent where you used to collapse after playing drums.
I kind of didn't hate it. It's I feel I kind of did everything to this performance. Only problem is no insurance companies covers me. yeah. So.
I noticed. I watched WeRX and I noticed that I think in every shot you had some form of bandage on you at the time. Are you reasonably healthy at the moment, or are you suffering?
I try to be healthy. I try not to drink too much. I try to be healthy as possible. But at the same time, when I perform, I had a neck surgery twice. I have artificial disc in my neck. That doesn't stop me from playing drums.
Has it stopped you from headbanging?
Yes and no, but I kind of found a way to headbang, healthier way to do. Yeah, actually I've been feeling all my like rock bands friends like just don't headbang that much because you know, I mean, headbanging is not like a couple hundred years old, so it's pretty new to the world, I guess. Like, right? You think about it, like music like Beethoven didn't headbang, right? So
This is first generation headbanger morning.
can be. They have a good example of so many neck surgeries. So, but at the same time, you know, if I may have to do another neck surgery, I'll do it. You know, actually, I may have to in the future, like, if I live long enough. But yeah, I'm a little bit contradicting, but yeah.
I noticed that the doctor was talking to you about, was it effectively playing without moving? He suggested that you do, which I was like, I'm very interested to know if you achieved that.
Film VIX, right? Yes. Yeah, but you know, yeah, I have tendonitis, I have a carpal tunnel syndrome, everything, but still, you know, everything I touch is like a kind of like touching the ice. It's pretty painful, but my how do you say, motive nerve is still perfectly fine. I can move my fingers, just painful. So I don't know. It's rock and roll. Yes, playing classical music.
It's inherent in the idea of rock and roll that there are sacrifices made in the process of making it, I think. So you're going to have your hands and your footprints immortalized in concrete outside of Mann's Chinese Theatre in Hollywood.
Next week.
What did you think when you were first told that? What was your reaction?
To be honest, how do I deserve that? Like, I don't feel like I accomplished that kind of degree yet. I mean, I'm still trying very hard. It's like, also, of course, made me feel very happy. Then, yeah, it's like, yeah, but you know, as long as my fans are happy, I'm very happy. You know, yes, the next Thursday in Los Angeles. Yeah, just want to make sure I don't have to wear a protector on my hands or anything. Just
it would be appropriate, I suppose, if that was in the. Just hope it's not quick setting concrete, I guess.
You might have noticed. So I did a lot of interviews today. Then some interviewers asked me, "Your pen holding in this film is a pretty huge pencil you're holding." Actually, that's a medical device. So because of my tendonitis, I cannot hold a smaller pen. It's my doctor recommended me to hold a. You might have seen the big green. It doesn't have to be green, but just, I hold a big, you know, pencil, pen, something like this, because I get numb even writing something in 10 seconds.
But to return to the Chinese theatre thing, that's a symbol of your increasing appeal to a much a wider global audience, American audience in particular. There, why is that important to you?
Good question. I've been living in America actually for a long time. I might have said in this film too, because to make the ex-Japan famous, more people want to know Hide or Taiji. I mean, they are literally amazing musicians. You know, I don't exist if they are not. We didn't have the band together. So some people want to find out because of that. You know, who's Yoshiki? Why is he doing? Oh, he's the band coming from ex-Japan. Oh, what's ex-Japan? Oh, there's a Hide, amazing guitar player from ex-Japan, something like that too. Yeah, that's kind of part of the reason too. Yes.
And what is the concept of haunting mean to you? What is the idea of haunting?
haunting?
mean to you? Because you've mentioned several people already who've passed, sadly, and it's clear to me that their influence on you is still very strong. And I wonder if you feel haunted by these people, but in a positive way.
Haunting sounds very haunting. I write very dark lyrics. I sometimes write the saddest song you can think of. At the same time, I'm a very positive thinking person. Yeah. Again, I could be easily dead like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but I don't know, I always start thinking why my father took his own life, right? So I was very sad, at the same time angry, So start actually blaming myself, was I suddenly react to, was I a bad son, or was I not good enough for my father? So he kind of left that kind of question forever. So of course I still love my father a lot, but I don't want to be. Again, I really respect my father, but I didn't want to be like that. Yeah. I was given this life, so I should just live as much as I can, not only for me, for people around me, or friends as well. So that's. Then try to think that way. I gotta be kind of positive thinking. I mean, you can have same life, same whatever, but depends on the lens you want to look at. That life could be miserable, or that life could be amazingly beautiful. So, who said that? There's no fact, just there's only, that's how I'm saying that. Same things happen in the world, but depends on how you look at that thing. That life can be beautiful or miserable either way. So I think it's in your, how you think.
The Viktor Frankl said it's our last human right is to choose how we view our circumstances.
I see.
So, if you had to pick drums or piano, which would you pick?
It's the first time somebody asked me.
It can't be.
No.
It can't be the first
I haven't asked that question. I may have to say piano, but it's almost equally.
Which is going to feature more in the 10-year anniversary Yoshiki classical concerts.
I was just asked that question too. Yes, people may think.
Trust me, I've got a couple of zingers left. I'm just going on the normal ones.
Yeah, it's a classical concert, so I'm going to be playing the orchestra, but not 100% confirmed yet, but maybe playing drums, because I want to do something crazy. So playing the orchestra, and can you imagine playing drums solo against orchestra? So yeah, I'm playing here Wembley, sorry, that's the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
Yes, next month, October 13th. I'm also playing Tokyo, and then Los Angeles Dolby Theatre, and then New Carnegie Hall. Yes, it's not, the production side is saying, Yoshiki, what the fuck are you thinking, right? Basically, but come on, I'm also a drummer too, so I'm gonna do something crazy, and I think I'll be doing it. So, yeah.
Do you find that there's a lack of flexibility with the classical stuff when you're having to, presuming you're working from a score with lots of other musicians, there's not so much room for improvisation?
I love the classical music the way it is as well. Trying to how do you say perform what Beethoven was thinking, what Bach or Chopin was thinking. They're trying to be, because I still go through a lot of classical classes. I have teachers around the world. So the translation should be this way. Chopin thinks this way, and they really appreciate it. And I try to learn that too. but at the same time, you can also translate it to your own way. Okay, it might be a little bit different example, but I also I do fashion. So I grew, I was the oldest son. My family used to run kimono business. So it's a very traditional Japanese clothes. And I also create a thing called Yoshiki kimono, like a crazy rock and roll type kimono. So in order for us to preserve tradition, I have to break that tradition too. You know what I'm saying? It's like the world is evolving. People try to I respect tradition. I will try to preserve that too, kimono tradition. But if you do something completely crazy, the people are like, what is it doing? Then they're gonna at least we open the door so they can look at our kimono used to be like this. I was chosen. My kimono was chosen National Museum in Japan last year, like a new era of the kimono, the past 1,000 years or something. I was like, wow, I was very grateful. So same thing with classical music. I still try to learn those amazing classical composers. But at the same time, I can play Beethoven very rock and roll way or punk rock way. So I do like to do both.
A painter friend of mine once said to me, it's the artist's job to change the shape of the medium that they work in.
That's beautifully said. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, in the artistic world, you have to go beyond your comfort zone. Also, try to respect what, existing art. You should break that art. So that's how I think. Some people may not like what I'm talking about, saying that, but even this film, at the beginning, I say I'm gonna break these fucking walls, because people get comfortable surrounded by walls sometimes. You are kind of protected, your life, your mind, your everything. But to break the wall, it's a challenge, but that's how our artists need to do.
How do you do that when you're surrounded by this, near empire of all your various operations, the bands, the films, the kimono designs, that there must be pressure around you to keep on doing the same thing that makes money over and over again?
I do have, pressure. At the same time, I'm kind of like crazy, so I'm not afraid. Not in a bad way. Worst case scenario, I die next moment. So you can bring all those things. I'm not saying this one to you guys, but I said, if I die, I'm gonna just put everything to the charity or whatever. At least I could do something for the good for the world. Then I'm not afraid to do that. Like I'm moving forward, or in a good way. Again, So you don't wanna limit your life. Just you are growing up, and also you are building your own wall. But you don't want to be, confined. Just stuck within the wall you built. So I'm always destroying that wall. So walls.
I think we're roughly the same age, and
I'm maybe a couple hundred years older than you.
You look about 30 years younger than me. It feels like that there's no, when I was growing up listening to punk rock and Bauhaus, there was no...
Peter Murphy.
Yes, and Kevin Haskins, the drummer, lives in Los Angeles, I believe, as well. But there was no template we were given as to how to be a punk rocker in your 50s and so on. So it's I found it sort of quite difficult to adapt to that, because there's no tradition that you can rely on once you get to that point. But do you view that kind of dynamic as liberating more than restricting?
That's an interesting question.
I can go back to when you prefer to play drums or piano if you like.
We do not have kind of like a president. Okay, I mean, it's like again, like I kind of said, headbanding, those things. So we are kind of like going for like unknown future, which is kind of exciting, you know. Well, at least like let's see, a couple hundred years from now, right? People may be talking about their group called Japan, or there's a crazy guy who did neck surgery. At this point twice, but he did neck surgery so many times. He did this, he did that. I wish in some ways, then people listen to the music and then, oh, this music saved me from something like this. That's how I'm thinking, like, you know. So if there's something happens like 100 years from now, again, I don't know very well, so exactly what's the way we should be living. But I think, you know, you shouldn't be living for the future or for the past. You should just live this moment, and then or my just answer is like your existence, while you live, while you're living, can help people now or future, something like this.
Is it almost as simple, Yoshiki, as that music saved you and your music is something that you want to help save other people?
Completely. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't think I be living in this world without music then. Especially last year, last year in May, my mother passed away, where I was like so hit by this. I didn't even think I was gonna be hit that hard. So I could not stop crying. Like then, it's like 3 days straight. It's unbelievable how much tears you could have, you know, shed. Like it's like tons of tears. Like I don't have that much even weight. You know, I was like just keep crying. Then when I see doctor, just can you give me any prescription, any medication, just to stop, you know, my tears. I couldn't. The doctor said there's no medication can stop your tears. Then I decided to compose music. A specific song called Requiem. You know, when you talk about Requiem, there's a Mozart, there's amazing music too. I said, okay, I want to create my own Yoshiki Requiem for my mother. So I was like, you know, might as well create the saddest song you could ever think. So I started composing that. Then, not right away, but slowly, I stopped crying, like you know, subside, so I was like, wow, this melody can save me, like helping me. This song can help people too. So it's kind of coincidentally at the same time I was asked to this world tour, upcoming world tour. I was talking to the agent in America called WME, William Center. Yoshiki, I'm gonna do the world tour or not? Like, I said, you know what, I will do it. You know, then play the song I'm just composing right this moment. So, yeah, it's that music's been helping me. Then the music I'm been helping myself, which I'm composing, may be able to help people. That'd be cool.
Whilst we were waiting for you, I asked the audience if they had any questions.
Yes.
And they all wanted to know whether you would prefer playing drums or piano. There were two questions from over here, one of which is, when is X Japan going to play London? And the other was, when are the last Rockstars going to play?
Yeah, we played. I really enjoyed that show. I almost didn't want to stop playing there. So we played like very long hours. Yeah, that's 2017. Huh? It's like almost 6 years ago. Wow, unbelievable. Yes. Yeah, I'm not avoiding question anything, okay? Yeah, X-Japan, yes, X-Japan is my life. Then it's pretty complicated, you know. Yes, as a leader of the band, I try, you know, as much as I can to perform again, and then especially here as well. So, you know, well, I mean, anywhere, Asia, you know, US, Europe. Yes, I would like to, while I can play drums. Yes, also the last Rockstars. We just announced a tour, well, just a few shows in Tokyo in November, and then also we are playing, I think, the Los Angeles, the end of November. So we are just talking. We may add a few more shows outside of that. So yeah, hopefully you can come. We can come here too.
As they say in the movies, to be continued. Thank you very much, Yoshiki.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to come through here. Thank you very much.